Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on a Sunday afternoon, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with stress. And a very good afternoon to you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I thought today would be a really good day to talk about how we can cope with reality in stress and also how to distract ourselves away from a lot of it. It's a really important thing for us to do. We've had a difficult week, haven't we? Dealing with uh, the all the mourning for Queen Elizabeth. And what I wanted to make sure you understand is that it's not just the Brits who are mourning; it's the world who are mourning. Hi there. I'd like to say hi to Jody, our admin, who does a wonderful job at looking after me and researching and doing stuff for us in a heartbeat. And hello there to Hawkeye. Always good to see you. For those of you who don't know who we are, Dear Mama Sal is a group of people who get together 3 times a week, and we talk about coping with life um, in different ways. On Friday lunchtime, we talk about coping with feelings because so many of us were not taught that it was okay to feel. And so every week we talk about our feelings about certain things that are going on or feelings about certain topics. And we really explore those because it's important to do that. Then on Friday evenings, we talk about coping with life on a budget. And mostly I'm cooking up stuff with leftovers because the more that we can see um, that we throw away more food than we probably need to eat, it's scary. And if you're on a budget, you learn not to throw things away. And the third one is this one, which is coping with stress, because we all deal with stress. Some of us handle it better than others. And boy, have we had an example of that this week. I am pretty certain you have all sat there in awe of the incredible emotional intelligence of the royals as they have stood vigil, as they have done their duty as the Queen would want them to do in a manner that was just so respectful. And I don't know about you, but how they did that without crying is beyond me. If you can imagine for a split second standing with your back to your mother's coffin for 15 minutes with the world watching you. And not only that, you have nothing to distract you. What you're doing is you are grieving in that moment and paying vigil to um, to that person. Absolutely incredible job. I agree with you, Jody. Jody's saying a magnificent job of honoring the Queen. It is exactly what she would have wanted. And so, as we look at that, right, I'm hoping that you will understand that a lot of what I want to talk about today is what have you learned this week watching all this go down? Because I believe that life is an ongoing, incredible series of lessons. And everything, if you choose, everything that you see, everything that you touch, everything that you feel is all about helping you grow. And there were so many things that we can talk about, and we will talk about over the coming weeks. Before we get on to our topic, I'd like to just do some birthdays and updates. First of all, I see Jeannie's here. Jeannie gave us an update that she's doing fine with her knee. She's not going to need surgery. That is just awesome to hear. We had an update about Erin. She got through her surgery and she's doing well. And that's the last that I heard from Erin. I haven't heard anything else. So, Jody, if you have more to input on that one, I'd appreciate it. We know that Charlotte's birthday is coming up on the 23rd, and we will have Andrea in Berlin, her birthday at the end of the month on the 30th. So, our thoughts and prayers for anybody who is suffering in any way, as usual. And please, if you are in need of thoughts or prayers, please let me know because I will, do my best to put it up and make sure that the Dear Mama Cell team is thinking of you and praying for you. Hawkeye saying it's been a sad week. I also found out that an elder social worker on the YouTube channel that I really liked passed away quite suddenly of sepsis. the day before she was due to go on vacation. Wow. And that is sad, isn't it? But I think about it and I think if you've got to go, better to go suddenly. Um, I don't know about you guys, but I would wish that on somebody rather than a long, drawn out way to go. And Jeannie's saying on Tuesday she starts her physical therapy. All right, Jodie's confirming that we don't have any other information on Erin other than the fact that she's resting and recovering. So that is awesome. For those of you who don't know, she had a new pain pump, I think, put in. And that's really, important for her, obviously. So this week, the world is about to witness the funeral of the Queen and to see her laid to rest. And somewhere, I don't know if any of you have given this some thought, but somewhere, hopefully towards the end of the week, the royals will all be able to breathe again. Can you imagine what these 10 days have been like for them? They will no longer need to be on show every day. And I hope and pray that they will have at least one weekend free to deal with the immense stress that they've been under. But it certainly has been incredibly impactful just watching them. And I have watched them in awe, quite honestly. I don't know about you guys. Were there any moments that you watched that had an impact on you in terms of how to deal with stress? And because that's really what we're looking at. And also, I would ask you, if you could, to maybe give a moment's thought to, hang on, before I go on, let me just read this. Jeannie's saying, brave, intelligent, the royal family has showed true courage. Yes, I would agree with you. And not only that, I also think they've shown compassion in allowing both Harry and Prince Andrew to wear their military colors. And boy, did they have a right to wear those. They both served frontline stuff. They didn't just have titles in the military. They served frontline. They deserved to be wearing their uniforms. I felt I was actually horrified to hear that they weren't allowed to wear them at the first vigil. But I was so glad that they got to wear them on the second. I want to tell you, I think that was justice done in a big way. So I want you, if you can, to think about stress. How many of you realize that our definition of stress is nothing compared to what they're dealing with? And then if you can, give a moment's thought, if you haven't already, and some of you will already thought about this. Imagine being the head of security, right? Somewhere there is this, obviously a group of people, but there is one person who is in charge of security for the funeral. Would you want that job? Can you imagine what? And I'm going to talk some stuff here that probably will not please a lot of you, but I'm going to talk about it because it's reality. I doubt they've had much sleep, any of them, right? Those people, anybody involved with the security. I doubt they've had much sleep this week. Not just for looking after the royals, but imagine it, they've got all these incoming VIPs. All right? And then think about it and say, what else? How many of you know that having that many people gathered, having that many VIPs gathered, having that many royals gathered is an absolute invitation for a terrorist attack? Now, I'm going to say that because I want to make sure we're all in reality. So it's like, I want to make sure you're ready in case it happens. I'm a great believer in be prepared rather than scared. So can you understand that they probably, yeah, Jodie's saying, I thought of that too. Yeah. So, and Jeannie was saying, I'm glad that you have. Not because that's thinking negatively, that is because it's realistic. Do you understand there's a difference? People will say to you, oh, how can you think of such a thing? We've got enough. No, I think you're very wise to be prepared for that possibility. Not that you should dwell on it, but if it happens, that you don't get angry, and when we will have some level of anger, but I hope you're already processing that possibility, and going, okay, if that happens, how am I going to cope with it? So what have you thought about? Tell me. What have you thought about? Will you be angry because they messed with the Queen's funeral? What will be your feelings around that? Because it's important to process those as much as possible before the event, because it will help you recover more quickly. All right, so Jodi's saying she's praying for a peaceful and respectful service. Yes. Yeah, there's another thing, Jodi. Will there be people out there heckling because of the British Empire? Will there be, angry people? All right. And so, yeah, what about the person who tried to run up the Queen's casket? You see, they're going to be all sorts of things that they are going to have to be ready for. And it will be quite obvious. However, how many of you were in awe of how close the British public got to almost being within an arm's length of the royals during those vigils? That they didn't stop, they stopped people just so the royals could get in place. But once the royals were in place, they allowed the people to continue to walk past the coffin. I don't know about you, but the security guys must have been holding their breath every single microsecond of that. You imagine having members of the public just walk past not only the Queen's coffin, but then also be that close to the royals. Hawkeye is saying a good point. I think in life it's sometimes useful to find some sense of peace with the worst possible outcome. Now, you don't need to accept it, but just be aware of the possibility. I found that helps me a great deal, Hawkeye. All right, which is about, am I prepared to possibly hear this? Because if I am, you understand, it will desensitize me to some degree. Jodi, am I allowed to tell your story about the crown? Because I think that's a really good example of where we can detract ourselves away from what Jodi was saying. Thanks, Jodi. She said yes. Jodi was saying to me today about the beautiful crown that's been on the coffin, and that's the imperial crown. And she said, because she's a human, she said she does not want to see Camilla, the Queen Consort, wearing that crown. Right? And I said, why not? And it's just like you could hear that she was, the very thought of Camilla wearing that crown upset her. And so I said, you will know that you have gained emotional intelligence when you can change your thinking to that is the imperial crown. And it would be the Queen was the one who said she wanted Camilla to be called the Queen Consort, all right? Not Princess Camilla or something, that she wanted her to have that Queen Consort title. All right. And then Jodi's saying, I understand she has the right. All right. And I would say I am pretty sure that Charles will want her to wear it because he adores her. And that is the most, important thing. But how long? I don't know. How long will it be before that crown is worn again? I think that's something that will be interesting. And it may be that it won't be worn during this generation. I don't know. It's a pretty important crown, so I think it probably will be. However, sometimes they just hide these things away for a generation almost, just so that it loses its impact in some way. Do you understand? Or they might just hand it over because that's what they're showing, is the Brits are capable of handing over power in a heartbeat. And I think that was another really strong lesson that kept coming up time and time again. That, that you need to know that the Queen is dead, God save the King. It's like you don't take a breath. Now, we then get to mourn for 10 days, but that is how the Brits think. It's like a part of their tradition. It is not a case of, well, if we like the person or not, or anything else. It's just not a maybe. It's the Queen is dead, God save the King. They move on really quickly. All right. And that is what I want you all to understand, that pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. So I pray, in my prayers, that the royalty, all the royals and all those, family and friends, will have a quiet weekend next weekend. And I hope that they will do things that bring them great joy. I hope they laugh, because I'm sure they've cried a lot. I hope that they play. I hope that they, just do things that make them happy. Now, some of you know that I have got a very difficult week coming up this week. And I thought I would share with you some of the ways I've been detracting myself away from what could happen on Tuesday. For those of you who don't know, on Tuesday I will go and see a specialist. I failed my first mammogram. I failed the second one. And now I have an appointment to see a specialist on Tuesday. Now, I deal with reality, so you understand I am not avoiding things like this could be breast cancer, but I've also looked and done the research. So I know I won't know whether it's breast cancer until after they've done the biopsy. So you understand, it's like I'm taking this one step at a time. I'm not denying the fact that it could be breast cancer, but I like the odds on breast cancer. At the moment, they're pretty good, even for somebody of my age. So, I look at it and I go, I'm not overly stressing about this, because the first thing I need to do is get that biopsy done. And then I will have, yes, I have, or no, I don't. What are the odds? The odds are that it probably will be benign. But I'd be stupid not to realize that there's a very strong possibility of breast cancer. Now, my sense of humor. About this time of year, me, I have routines that I keep to. And one of the routines I have is, around about fall and spring, I think about getting new underwear. And I'm thinking maybe I'll hold off on buying new bras for the fall until after the biopsy. How many of you can understand that helped detract me a little bit? All right, that's interesting. Jeannie's saying, I keep saying that I failed the test. Can you change it so it does not sound as though you're at fault? Well, yeah, that's a very good thing. But the truth is, I did, Jeannie. I don't think I was at fault. Okay, what would you rather I say? How would you say it differently? I say it with humor, but I understand your point, and it's well taken. I can say, the first mammogram showed a problem that was highly suspicious. Like, those were the words that we used. The second mammogram confirmed a highly suspicious area of 4 centimeters. I mean, I think that sounds worse somehow. I'm sort of happy that I failed mammogram 1, and then I didn't do too well on mammogram 2 either, and I'm on my way to see an expert. I mean, to me, that's sort of just the way I talk. But what I'd be interested to hear how you guys would word it differently, knowing who I am. So, how many of you think I'm worrying myself sick about going to see this specialist? All right, I'm not. Why? I did my research. How many of you are chuckling? Of course you did. All right. I actually checked to see is this guy some rookie, that they've palmed me off with? Or this guy actually know what he's doing? How many of you can see the humor in that? I'm going, I think I want to know. Well, guess what? He's the co-chair of surgery in that hospital, and that's a big hospital. There was part of me went, how did I? Getting to see a surgeon in Canada normally takes 3 months. I don't mind telling you that. With our health system, normally takes 3 months. How come I got in a couple of weeks? I had the second mammogram on the 7th, all right? And I am 10 days later going to be just about 13 days, 2 weeks later, I'm seeing the top guy, the co-chair of surgery. I'm going, well, yeah. See, Jeannie's saying, Jody, first of all, saying is, I think you're very zen. I am doing everything I can to stay zen. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing everything I know how to stay in the moment. Got nothing to worry about until somebody tells me I've got something to worry about. All right. And Jeannie's saying the odds are good. The doctor is excellent. Things are very positive. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but there was part of me that went, got the top guy. And then there's that other part of me, all right, on the other shoulder going, how did you get to the top guy? Can you see that both those conversations were going on? And it was so funny. By the way, I did take my antihistamine, and they should kick in pretty soon. But it was just like, really? I get the top guy. And then this voice in my head said, how come you got to the top guy? And I'm going, who cares? I did. And I think that I've done a really good job of keeping myself occupied this week. So what have I done? I thought you guys would like to know what I've done. I've been watching affirmations. What did I do with my phone? I didn't bring it with me. I need it. Hold on, sir. I would say in a nutshell, one of the things that I've done is try to live my normal life, without freaking out or doing. I've just tried to do as much as I can normally, but I've been concentrating on what would bring me joy. Okay, that's a really important thing. So, there's a reason why I'm. Oh yeah, affirmations. I was talking about affirmations. I found a program that I really liked that I've been using to quickly take notes on things. I've got 1,001 different ways, and I'm going to be talking about that in a second, of keeping notes. But I found something called Easy Notes, and it's really nice for taking a quick picture and storing it and everything else. And then, I can sort of put it into whatever system I want to. But what I did, hang on a second, I think I put that as a picture here somewhere. Maybe if I searched for it, it would help. There we go. All right. So one of the things I did is I searched some affirmations. All right. And so anytime I'm feeling a little bit stressed, I will read 10 affirmations. All right. For example, I love who I am. I am calm and relaxed in all situations. My muscles are relaxed. My tension is melting away. I am relaxed and calm. I am comfortable around other people. I am thankful and grateful. Calmness washes over me with every breath I take. I am relaxing and releasing all negative emotions from my system. I deserve a peaceful and loving life. I am breathing slowly and deeply, filling myself with calmness. You see, I've got it in a heartbeat every time I start to worry about it. Really important. Jeannie's saying at the memorial service, I saw a lady whose daughter died of kidney disease a while ago. She was best friends with York's daughter, and she came over to me and said I was the only one who bought her food after her child's funeral. She gave me happiness. Yeah. We know you're a good person, Jeannie. And we know it's important. And it's part of who you are, all right, is doing things for other people. By the way, one of the other things that I did was you all know that I get great joy out in my garden. So, but before I do that, Jody, I have great news. You are now the mother. You are now the mother of two. Oh, one popped up while I'm doing 3 seedlings. There they are. Now, for those of you who don't know, I planted these last week for Jody, just to show her how quickly they grow. This little one on the side here is not from this group, but there's 3, Jody. And I want to just, did that bring you joy? You see, it's really important. That was quick, wasn't it, Jeannie? Yeah. Yes, Jody is smiling. You see? There you go, Jody. And I will keep showing you as they continue to grow. So I'm expecting you could have a couple of dozen babies, just so that you know. So you all know that I get great joy out of this. My big experiment is these are the white double impatiens that I had this year. And I am busy propagating them ready for the summer next year. How many of you are going, that's insane? I want to know, can I keep them going over the winter? Now, I've never done it before. It doesn't mean I can't do it this time. So, you know, I do this hydroponically. Here are ones that have been going a lot longer, and you can see they're growing really nice roots on them. Right? But what I wanted to show you was this one has graduated to a bottle. And look at the roots on here. I don't want to get it out too far, but you can see it's got a mass of roots. This is my thing, learning how to grow things hydroponically. And how long have we been watching this one? This one was my first one, I think, that I wanted to test whether I could grow it hydroponically. Look at the root system on this one. Okay, and I'm not going to take it all the way out, but you get the idea. So how much joy do I get? Now, wait a minute. For those of you who say, oh, you've just got a green thumb, some of you have been around long enough. It's taken me 2 years to learn how to grow things hydroponically. How many failures have I had? I just didn't quit. You see, when everybody else said, hey, it'd be cheaper and easier just to buy the things, I didn't quit. Now, just got to show you because you're going to love this. Well, some of you will. And the rest of you, get over it. We now have Dr. Pepper growing very well. That was the first one, all right? Dr. Pepper. But next to Dr. Pepper is possibly lemon pepper. Can you see lemon pepper below? We're not sure because it could turn red or yellow. So if it turns red, that will be Sergeant Pepper. If it turns yellow, It's yellow pepper. All right. And then I've got more somewhere. If I look lower down, all right, I've got more. And then you can probably see behind it, there's another one starting up. So exciting. Now, do you understand that each day that I look at them brings me joy? Each day that I go out, and Jody, you get excited about the three little seedlings, right? Each time I grow out and see those tomatoes. Did anybody see the vlog I put up today? Because, have I got a picture? I think I have. Maybe not. Oh, but you understand? Yeah, the one about fixing the step. But did you see how big my tomato plants were? Jeannie, they were way above. Those tomato plants started like this. From half, you see those two halves of a grape tomato that came in on the shopping list. Right. Now, some of you remember that I loved those wonderful limelight hydrangeas at my last house. And they had the most magnificent blooms, and they're lime colored in the summer. But then as the autumn comes, they turn this pink color that you're looking at. And then when they die, they turn a sepia color. Now that's 3 baby ones on my new plant. But how many of you know how much joy that brings me? I've now got a new bush, and it will continue to do this. And, I keep laughing because that's basically about half the size of the blooms of the ones that I had before, but that doesn't matter. You know how much joy I got from seeing them and being able to pick them and put them in my bathroom. And by the way, I will let them dry, and I will keep them all winter. All right? They will just naturally dry. Now, I've got other things I did that gave me great pleasure. Some of you will have seen that I distracted myself by going shopping I basically went to go get some wood for this project that I did the vlog on. But while I was there, I bought these. Don't you think they're pretty? And that made me smile. And when I saw them, I went, yeah, that's got my name on it. So I got them. And I also bought, I actually had daffodils in my hand until I saw this mixture. And I like the mixture really well. Now, do I think that the squirrels will come and eat a lot of them? Yep. And by the way, if they do, I hope they enjoy them. I will now be waiting. It's the way I've managed to distract myself about the problem with leaves. Any minute now, the leaves already started falling, but any minute now, I'm going to have what they call a plethora, bucket load of leaves. No, not a bucket load, a truckload of leaves on my back bank that I showed in the video. But the way that I've managed to change my thinking about it is that I found a use for the leaves. So I want to go back for a moment to this whole thing about Jody and the crown. You see, Jody was angry at the idea of Camilla wearing the crown. And I said, what I want you to do is I want you to practice seeing her wearing the crown. And she's saying, no, I will knock it off. And I said, that's fine, but practice seeing her wearing the crown. And I want you to do that a lot, because the more that you do it in your mind, the less affected you will be by it when it actually happens. Does that make sense to everybody? That if you can program yourself to get used to that idea. How many of you know that I have already programmed myself to hear the fact that I might have breast cancer? Right? Not being negative, just like, hey, it's possible. Is it a possibility? Of course it is. Therefore, I should be prepared to hear it. And I will be grateful if it's just breast cancer. Now, the chances of that happening are way low, but I am ready. Do you understand the difference? It's really important. Think about all those royals. The way they coped with that is not by accident. They have been trained to have emotional intelligence since the day they were born. All right? They learned there were two things that you do. One of them is in public and the other is in private. They know that there is a place for grieving and it's not in front of the public. I think it's really important that you understand the incredible lessons that we have to learn, not only from what we've already seen, but for what we will see. And very, very important. Now, you probably all think that I went to my craft room and spent a couple of days in there. I actually haven't. I've had a lot of things to do outside because, winter is coming, as they say. So I've spent time there rather than in the craft room, but I am going to be doing some time in the craft room this week. But one of the things that I said is, how could I use this energy of sadness and grief for the Queen and everything like that, and obviously the concerns about what could happen on Tuesday, how could I use that energy in a positive way? And I said, what most needs your attention right now? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am a planner. You know that. I plan things, all right? But I plan things so that I end up totally overwhelmed with the plan. Do any of you relate to that? And one of the things I realized was that my digital planner was so overwhelmed that I was spending more time trying to bring everything up to date than actually being able to do things on it. Some of you will relate to this. For some of us, writing a to-do list is the worst thing we can do some days, right? So what I said was, I know this is now a problem, so what am I going to do about it? Now, let me give you an example of that. One of the things I've been doing is staining the wooden railway ties that surround my property and my gardens. Now, that's a messy job. You're dealing with brown stain, and I noticed that every time I had to go and change my clothes and get ready to get really dirty and all that sort of stuff. And I went, is there a better way of doing that? And then I thought, you know what I need? I need coveralls. And I'm going, yeah. You know what I got? So excited. I got myself a CSI suit. Why? Because it brought me pleasure. So now I don't have to change. I just put on my CSI suit. Yep, and it's got a hood and everything, but it means I can go out in the rain if I need to. But here is my CSI suit. Oh, I got a picture. And the funny thing is, I was amazed how little paint I got on it. I did get some at the back. It looks to me like I probably wiped my hands. Oh, and the same place on the other one. Yeah, that I wiped my hands at one point. Now, that would have been on my clothing. So how many of you know that brought me great joy? It was just like, I got a CSI suit. And that's exactly what it is. And it's not thin. And it has breathing holes in it and all sorts of stuff. So, and because it's not fabric, there's no way the stain is going to get to my clothes. It's not going to be, you know, if I wound that up a bit better, it would be easy, but I didn't. Hang on, I'll show you a picture. So, turn around pictures. We want pictures of the CSI suit. There we go. There I am in my CSI suit. Do you think it gave me pleasure? Do you think it detracted my mind away from what's going to be happening this week? You bet. And do you know that I now went, hey, now I can go out and paint anytime. I don't have to change. I just need to put on my suit. Awesome. Really happy with that. So I want you to see that what I do is not about ignoring what's going on. Quite the opposite. I actually make sure I can face what is the possibilities, whatever they are, because I want to desensitize myself, all right, from it. And in order to not sit there and think about it morning, noon, and night, which I know that the old me would have done, I wanted to do things that detracted. One of the things that, let me go shopping. Now, I could have ordered up the bulbs. I could have ordered up the planks that I used for my project. I could have ordered all that up online and had it delivered. And I went, no, this week you're going to go. It's going to make you go out and do things. You're going to see people and talk to them. And, there are a lot of good benefits for doing that. So that's what you're going to do. And your discipline is, will you do it? Because I had every excuse not to. And the answer was, yes, I can. And which brings me back to the planner thing. Now, what I have learned is that I want to show you what it looks like when I try to only plan a few things in the week. This is my week. Okay? How many of you can see that's pretty full? So I know that is a little difficult. Now, next week is looking good so far, all right? But this is through to next Wednesday, all right? And they're all important things. But I tried to do too much. So what I did was I went, wait a minute. Why don't I create it for myself? What do I need? And what I decided, because I want to stay in balance, is what I need is the days. This is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I need the balance. The balance would be my health, my garden, my family and friends, my house, my admin, DearMamaSal. You know what I mean? I've got categories. And then what I did was I started to put in, if I only did one thing on Saturday on each of those, what would it be? If I only did one. Now, I ended up putting two. So then when I realized, because that's what I do, right? Well, hang on a second, but I also need to do this. So then what I did is I decided I'm going to keep the left-hand column to just put in, if I only did one thing today on my health, I put in 3. Well, because I got to take my meds. That's 1. I need a shower. That's 2. And then I would like to do 6K steps, right? For my garden today, after the broadcast, I would like to feed my roses. I can do that. Meant to be one task, but guess what? I got 2. The second one is I know I need to water my deck. It's overdue. So then family and friends. If I do one thing, I would like to find my passport. Why? I've started a little carry thing with the things in that I need. I think you all know I'm going down to visit Benji and Judy next week. And I've started collecting things together that I will need. And I've got in there my American money already. and I've got my vaccine certificate and everything in there already. And what I needed was my passport, and I went to where it was meant to be, and I didn't find it. Now, was I a bit stressed about that? And I went, no, that'll be a good task to do. It'll keep me distracted away from everything else. So part of my job tonight is to pull apart where I thought I would put it, because it's probably there, but I just haven't found it yet. And then, of course, I want to talk to at least one of my friends. Yesterday, I made a point of going visiting a friend of mine who is about to have quite a serious cancer operation herself. And I wanted to not just send her a text, I wanted to see her one-on-one, and to just be with her and talk to her and, have that moment. So in my house, what I really wanted to do, I know this sounds insane, but remember why I'm doing these things. These things are things I'm doing to take my mind away from what I don't want to think about. My coffee table that comes up as a desk, my coffee table has a rug underneath it, and it's been there for over a year now. And that side is getting a bit worn, because I keep dropping my popcorn on it and half my dinner and all sorts of things. You can imagine. So what I thought was I need to take that rug out. And I bought it specially because it's a light one, that I can throw it in the wonderful dishwasher, the wonderful washing machine I've got. So what I wanted to do was to get it out and put it in the washing machine. Now, the first thing is that's difficult, Sal, because that coffee table is heavy. And you don't want to be straining yourself in any way. So, I spent at least 3 or 4 days trying to work out, how could I do this without getting help? That's the challenge, right? How could I do it without getting help? And I worked it out that if I held the carpet down with my feet to make sure it didn't slide, and I pushed the coffee table far enough, I could get it off the rug on the back. And then all I would need to do is to lift up the front and then pull the rug towards me. You all got that picture? Well, in theory, I thought that would work, but the only way you can find out is to do it. Well, it worked way better than I thought it would. So the first time I tried it, it worked, and I went, well, that's pretty good. So I can move on with plan B. One was to get it out from under, and the second was to huck it in the big washing machine. And it washed beautifully, and it dried beautifully. And guess what? Then I had the problem, can it go back the same way? That was a little bit more challenging. I don't know why. I wasn't feeling as strong yesterday, but I did manage to get the coffee table up enough to get part of it under, and that's good. And then I got a lot more of it under. I just did it every half hour. I did a little bit more, one step at a time, until I got enough of it under that I had the rug at my feet, and then I had the rug underneath the coffee table, and I had the rest of the rug under the coffee table as well. So then I went and sat on the other couch, lifted it up, and quietly pulled the rug out. And I ended up with a clean rug. I turned it so that the bit that I'd been standing on for the last 2 years was now at the guest side of my living room. The other thing I realized, I wonder how many of you agree with me on this, I waste a lot of time writing down things that keep happening over and over again. So what I realized, part of what I need to do is not do that. And so what I created, and I'm not sure yet how well it will continue to work. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. I'm starting what I call a master list. By the way, there's so many great templates online these days. This is my habit tracker, all right? And so on a daily basis, it's my habit to do certain things, like take my meds, tidy my bathroom, tidy my bedroom, tidy the kitchen. Just a daily thing, right? But then I have weekly tasks, right? Things like clean the bathrooms, the garbage, water the deck. Clarence the cleaner, don't forget him. Then I have some tasks, I'm just giving you a few, some tasks that I do every 2 weeks, all right? For example, the actual garbage bin only goes out every 2 weeks. I wash my sheets every 2 weeks. So, some of you going, yuck, I wash mine every week. That's fine. I turn mine every week and I wash them every 2 weeks. I learned that at school. When I was at boarding school, and I was, that's what we did. And I've done it ever since. Just after 2 weeks, we used to call it top and toe. So whatever was at the top now goes to the toe. Anyway, so there you go. Then I've got a section for things I do monthly. Haven't got anything in there yet, but I'm working on other bits here and transferring them. Then I have things I do seasonally. Things like turn my mattress. Things like wash all the bedding. And when I say all the bedding, I've got a Sherling rug underneath my sheet. All right, so that it not only it just feels much better to lie on that than just a mattress, but it also helps protect the mattress. But I have it under my mattress protector, so I've got my bottom sheet, and if you take that off, I'm left with a mattress protector, but underneath that there is a Sherling rug there. So I try to make sure I wash that at least. Yes, Jody's saying clean the coffee maker. It's coming up, right? Replant, this is fall. I'm talking about the season of fall. Replant the planters is on there already because we know I'm about to do that, but I need to wait for the leaves to drop, right? But it's coming up in the fall. The Keurig needs to be done. Well done, Jody. What else? The dishwasher. All right. Think about that. For those who've got a dishwasher, every season I clean out the dishwasher. What I do is I take a I can't find the one I want, but it's half this size. It's just a plastic container like this. And I fill that with vinegar. And I put it on the top rack of my dishwasher. And then I run my dishwasher on sterilize. And this, the vinegar in here will then permeate through the whole of the system, not just the tub itself, but also through all the wands that spin around and everything. All right, so that will help clean it. So I do that once a season. What else have I got here? Oh, the water filter in my water filter system. I test it every season, and because I found out it lasts a season, sometimes more. So if it's beginning to move, then I will change it. And why do I say beginning to move? I have one of these zero water filters, all right? So if that is not reading 0, that's beginning to move. But it depends how much of it moved. If it's only just started to move a little bit, it's not 0, but it's not bad at all, then I might leave it another month. Makes sense? So I'm watching, has there been movement? And sometimes, guess what? It has a lot of movement, in which case, time to change the filter. And it was interesting because I remember Benji, when he came to visit me, when he first saw that, he said, "Why are you filtering the water? You are on well water." And I'm going, well, 3 holes in the ground. I said, well, the reason is because, even well water is not good. And our well water is all chlorinated. It goes through a chlorine system before it comes to us. So you understand, I want to get out that chlorine smell and taste and everything. That's gone. That's why I filter it. So can you understand that once I've got this done. At the moment, I'm just writing it in because that's it. But by the time I get to the end of the fall, I will know the tasks that I do in the fall. Right? And this will keep expanding. And then what I will do is put it, to actually type it into the master sheet. So the next time I print it, it will automatically be there. I've done it for 2 months at the moment. That's what I've done. So before I reprint it, I will type whatever I've written in there. Makes sense. Now, the next trick that I worked on is I've got all sorts of different ways of dealing with the current month. And there's a reason for that. I want to find out which one works best. One of the ones I have is just to print out the month like this, but with enough space to be able to write in there what I'd like to do, with lots of space on the side to make notes if I need to. So that's one way. And for example, the one task I have for DearMamaSal today is to do this broadcast, plus to edit another video ready to release. Okay. And then at the bottom here are all the tasks that I would like to do in the month, or what I've got left of this month. Makes sense. So that will help me keep this correct in terms of what is important. So when I go to fill in what do I want to do this week, I would go to this sheet. And I've got it on DearMamaSal, Health, Admin, Family and Friends. I've got a financial one that I'm adding. Actually, I probably will put the finance in under admin. But, it's just like I'm trying to find out not to adapt myself to somebody else's idea of a day timer. I'm trying to find out what do I really want, where when I look at it, it's not going to overwhelm me. I want to tell you, if I printed out what is in my day timer, digital day timer at the moment, it would horrify anybody. And do I get it all done? No, I don't. But I think so far ahead on a lot of things, it's just like, it's insane. So I'm going, I need a way to keep the ideas. One of the ideas, for example, that I had was, I don't know if you remember, but one of my neighbors gave me a glass butterfly about this big as a 75th birthday present. And I had it in my mind, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? It's heavy. So, and I don't want to put it outside for the winter. So I thought, where would be a good place that maybe she can even see that it's there? And what I decided was, I've put it, you probably can't see it because of the sun coming through, but I've put it in the middle of my greenhouse window. Why? Her house is right over there. And I know she can see that greenhouse window because she said, I know you haven't gone to sleep because the light's still on. And I go, which light? And she said, the greenhouse window. And I went, oh, that's where she looks. So let me put the butterfly where she can see it. How many of you going? Clever. Now, she might not be able to see it, but if I'm really smart, I'll keep, after the grow lights have gone, I've got grow lights in there as well, but after the grow lights have turned off, it's got a little button you can press and it has its own lights. So I will just make sure that those are on. I'm actually quite proud of myself for that one. But, I'm amazed at how many things I'm getting done. That I had this huge project to do, which was to stain all the garden ties. I didn't try to do that in a day. All right? That would be stupid at my age. All I did was, can I consistently go out and paint some? And now, I've done it, I did it basically in a week. This week, all I've got left, let me think, what have I got left? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 areas left. So it might take me another week. And obviously I have to be careful because we got rain coming. And that's why I'm trying to get it done before the rains. But I already have the next project on the go. The next project is that part of my yellow shed that matches the siding of my house, part of my yellow shed, the paint has started to just strip off with all the weather and everything else. So, not badly, but old story, a stitch in time, right? So what I've done, I went and bought the paint. Now, I'm not sure if the paint matches it perfectly, but that actually isn't a problem. What's important is that I cover the wood so that it doesn't rot. So what I decided was, even, you see, because I think ahead and go, what if it's wrong? What if my estimation of what the color is completely wrong? I'm not worried about it. Two reasons why. Number one, it will cover the bare wood, and that's what I'm trying to do. And number two, I will be able to, in the spring, just completely repaint the shed. Just putting on my CSI suit, just going out and just painting a little bit more every day. I don't have to do it in one day. It's a work in progress. Now, another thing that I found that helps me sort of keep on track and not have to stop losing focus on what I'm trying to do is, as I'm doing something like painting the ties and stuff, you understand there are things that I'm seeing or remembering that I need to do. And mostly it's stuff that I see. So what I'm learning to do is to take my phone with me. The one disadvantage of the CSI suit, it doesn't have pockets. All right? It doesn't have pockets. So I know I need to be wearing something I can drop the phone into, and it's not my bra. So what I've started to do is, as I see things, instead of just trying to remember them, I do this. I take a picture. Why did I take a picture of my tire? Because I need to check my tires. That's going to go on the list for things to do this week. Why? We're getting close to cold weather, and I want to make sure my tires are pumped up properly. So then, what else did I see that needs to be done? Hang on. Okay. I was filling up my medication. And what I did is, instead of writing a note, I just literally took the meds that I need to replace and took a picture of them. That was my Benadryl, my glucosamine, and my Tylenol. I just took a picture of the three. Why? Because then when I went to order, which is coming tomorrow, I just looked at the picture and went, okay, got to get those. And I found actually having the picture works really well for me. Here we go. This is an upright where one of my, did you think that vine is beautiful with those red trumpet flowers on it? Anyway, you will see at the top of that white, there is a white paint is tripping off there. So one of my tasks is to take the white paint, and I'll probably do that before I do the yellow. It's just touch up the white paint so that I will do it. But you understand, just taking the camera and taking a quick picture saves me a lot of time. I got any others close by? This was the get well soon card that I made for my neighbor. She actually thought I did that by hand. I told her that she needs to wake up. There is no way I do that by hand. But I did have fun making it, and I want to make a few more because it's always useful to have one on hand when somebody's not well. So you understand what I'm trying to do is I'm actually, instead of sitting and thinking about what could happen on Tuesday, what I might hear, what I'm doing is doing other things. Now, also on my list for the house is repaint the cupboards in my laundry room. How long have you heard me talk about that? And I didn't want to do it. Why? I knew it was going to be messy and dirty and everything else. But now I've got my CSI suit. It means I can paint it this winter, knowing that I can quickly put on the CSI suit, zip everything up, and if necessary, put the hood over so that my hair doesn't get in the paint, and then go for it. Much better plan. So you understand that what part of my way of keeping myself away from thinking about what could happen on Tuesday. But I'm realistic. For example, Benji and Judy know that if what happens on Tuesday is this is what we think you've got, and you need that biopsy on next Tuesday, because everything else has happened very quickly, all right, suddenly. I have warned them that there is a possibility that could happen. Now, obviously, I will try and not do it that week, but if I can't delay it for a week, if they really think it's that important in such a hurry, then I would need to cancel my trip. So all things are possible. My sense, thinking realistically, and it'll be one of the questions, obviously, which is if I delay it by a week, how serious is it going to be? And I would suggest that probably another week is not going to make that difference, in which case I would choose to have the joy of going down and seeing the children. Does that make sense? And that would be my choice, to go down and enjoy playing with the children and getting a hug from Benji and Judy. That's really important. So what I hope you can see is that the reason the royals handled it so well was not by chance. They have been trained to do this since they were born. You will have noticed with the little ones, George and Charlotte and now Louis, they are trained to wave at the photographers. All right? There is a moment when you see mommy or daddy lean down and go, you need to wave to the photographers now. Was it Harry that called them the tographers? He didn't know it was photographers. He called them the tographers. So, to me, it's like, don't think that they are exceptional. They have been trained to do this. Their emotional intelligence has been instilled upon them from the day they started. How many of you wished you had that sort of mind control? There is a reason Charlotte is such a doll, says Jody. Yeah, isn't she just? And she loves those photographers. You can tell. She's going to be a real handful. But I don't know about you, but what made me happy this week, let me find out about you guys. Watching all that we've watched, what made you happy? Did anything make you happy? I was saying to Jody that that Imperial Crown makes me happy. It's my favorite crown. I think it just is so regal in every single way. But then being me, I'm going, I wonder how much it weighs. So I checked it out for you all. It weighs 2.5 pounds, that particular crown. The one that's worn at the coronation weighs 5 pounds. Think about that. That's 2 bags of sugar. Can you imagine walking around with 2 bags of sugar on your head? And one of the things that made me laugh was I went to go and see, were there any instances, did the Queen make a comment about wearing those crowns? And she said about the coronation crown, it's a really good idea not to look down at your speech. She said, that when you're doing the coronation speech, you need to bring the words up to your eyes, not your eyes down to the words, because if you lean forward, 5 pounds is going to take over and the crown's going to fall off your head. So she said, one of the things is very important is you need to know what you're doing here. And by the way, have you noticed how beautifully they walk with that crown on? There's a reason. They are absolutely shit scared that thing's going to fall off. It's just like, I want, if you see the coronation of the king, remember when you watch them put that thing on his head, that it's 2 bags of sugar they're putting on his head. All right. And when he walks with it, I bet you he is ramrod straight. And how many of you love the way that all the royals had such beautiful posture? They all stood tall, all right, even though they were grieving. On their way in, they all stood tall. They all stood absolutely aligned. And you're going, how did everybody do that? They are taught to do that. I can remember that part of my training at school, we had to literally walk around with books on our heads, right? And you literally, part of punishment was to walk around with a book on your head. But what they were doing is training you to stand balanced, all right, not leaning forward, right? You got to walk with your head absolutely in line and your spine in line to be able to do that properly. How many of you are going to try that one this week and see how you do on that one? I tell you, I'm not good at it anymore. And if you want to know how bad your posture is, walk to any door jamb, any doorway, and then stand there and see if you can put your feet, your heels against the door frame, put your butt against the door frame, put your shoulders against the door frame, and then try and put your head against the door frame. Now, your head will be a little bit too far back, but here's the thing. What you're teaching yourself is, how much do I stoop? Now, another trick from the royals. Did you notice that Prince Philip always walked like this? He always walked with one hand behind him. And if you want to know why, it forces you to stand straight. And quite often when I'm out on a walk, I will literally walk with my two hands clasped like this behind me to make sure that I'm walking straight. All right. Now, does it look funny? Of course it does. So then I will just walk for a while with just one hand. And the other thing is I'm inclined to shift it because I know that my steps are being counted on this hand. And that's the one I would naturally put behind my back. So quite often I just make sure I'm walking with this hand and holding my back straight with the other. And the other thing is, if you actually put your palm of your hands on your butt, all right, and try and walk, it really does shift your center of balance, and it's a good thing. So I look at these moments as great learning moments, all right, not just great sadness moments, but great learning moments, because I keep looking and going, what do I aspire to? I aspire to be able to walk as regally as they do. I used to, but I know that I've been sloppy, and therefore, I'm probably spending too much time hunched over. How much time do we spend hunched over a computer, right? And I'm hoping that all of you know that one of the most important exercises you can do for yourself is when you lie in bed, lie on your back and put your shoulder blades way back and touch the mattress, right? And you'll find you've got probably about 3 inches to go. I sleep on my side, so I sleep hunched up. What am I going to end up with? I've got to do a lot of exercises of keeping those shoulders back if I want to keep my posture. And that will affect my balance, and that will affect all sorts of things. The other thing I did was to entertain myself, because I love to learn. So what I did was I bought myself a new light for outside. I have a Ring doorbell that I had to take down because I can't hear it ring. And that was a funny thing. And then I bought the inside alarm thing, and I still wasn't happy. So what I decided was and I don't know what I've done now. When I had the fire, they took it and they cleaned it, but I don't know where it is now. So the ring part of it either got thrown away or it has not come to light yet. So I said, well, I don't want to wait to find it. Let me get something new. So what I did, I don't know if you know. Let me show you. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Did you know you can buy a light that has a camera in it? Right? And you don't need to stream it, pay extra to stream it, because this, you can put an SD card in, which means it will take the video and you have got it on your phone. You don't have to pay extra to have it streamed somewhere. I like that. However, it was a very difficult experiment for me. Number one, it's a new gizmo. Now, that brings me great joy, but I also go through the gizmo learning curve. Yeah, you're saying you've never seen anything like that. And right. So literally, Jody, you just screw it in and it's a motion detector. If it detects motion, it starts to move. It's great fun to watch. Should I take I'd take a video of it so you can see it track me. I did lots of tests with it. But first of all, before I got there, I had to get it to work. How many of you know this was not easy for me? Right? And I literally spent a day, or it felt like a day, it probably was half a day, trying to get it actually to turn on. And, you want to see what it looks at? Oh, I can show you. So then I got it working. So, I had to walk up and down and see if it tracked me, which it did. Doom, 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 doom. There it is. And it's up high. Right? It's not easy for somebody to track it. And it doesn't look like it's a camera. It looks like it is a light. Why? Because when it sees movement, it turns on all these LED lights. It's also got an infrared thing to it, so it can see at night. It's very clever. But now, once I got the SD card in, coming on Tuesday, lots of fun things are coming on Tuesday. Why did I plan for lots of fun things to come on Tuesday? Think about that. Why would I do that? When I get home from that appointment, they're going to bring me joy. All right. I'm going to be like a kid at Christmas going, oh, look at that SD card. Now I've got to work out which way it goes. I've already done that. I've thought ahead on that one. You see, this is what I want to tell you how I do these things. One step at a time, but I try to be one step ahead. I already found the instruction on how to put the SD card into the camera. I've got a picture. I just have to go, okay, that bit goes forward. One step at a time. The first thing was to get it to work. I was so excited when it worked. Then I found that it just took pictures of my belly button. So then you try and change the angle of it, right? But of course, every time I did that, I was touching it, so it's tracking me. I'm going, shut up. I'm trying to move the angle, and it's going, where are you? Where are you? I hear you. I see you. Where, and I'm going, it's got to be a better way. Well, there is. It's such fun. Hang on a second. Okay, you can, if I do it that way, maybe it's better for you. Turn. All right, don't turn. Oh, I can make it turn. There we go. All right, so that's the sort of view it's got. Please turn. Doesn't matter. All right, but you can see what it's looking at, right? It's looking at the stairs down from my place and my car. And now, you're going to love this. See this little thing here? I can change where it's looking. I can make it go up, like that, or I can make it go down. Maybe, maybe not. Go down. Come on. There we go. It's fighting me. I'm not going to quit, so you might as well just go down. Thank you. Very slowly it's doing it. Yeah, you can do it. There you go. Oh, oh, oh. I need to go up again. So now I'm just moving it. That's about right. No, I want it up a bit more. All right, this bright pink that you can see, those are my geraniums. Now, here's the thing I know is coming, because, I think ahead. Any minute now, the high winds are going to start, and every time my screen door, which stays open in winter, stays open all year, actually, my screen door is going to start doing this. So for the winter, I may need to close my screen door so that it doesn't keep, because, every time it does that, it's going to wake. What shall I call him? Simmy, because that's the name. Okay. So Simmy the Seeker, because it seeks. All right. That's looking at my geraniums. Now, the question is, when those geraniums start moving in the wind, will it also take pictures? We'll find out. Work in progress. But what I liked about it was that it actually takes its own SD card that connects with my phone. So that was pretty good. Now, here's another thing that happened, because, it's bound to happen. Here Simmy is doing this survey, and when he's finished, he keeps turning around and looking at the wall. He's meant to look at the steps, but he keeps looking at the wall. Now, it was driving me insane. And I'm going, how can you see movement, Simmy, if you're facing the wall, you silly shit? So you need to turn around. So I'm going, So you tried undoing the light bulb enough so that it's pointing in the right direction. And guess what? To get it in exactly the right direction, I'm just basically nearly unscrewing the whole thing, which is not a good idea. But that's a challenge for me. Any of you work out what I did next? Like how, if I unscrew it that much, it's going to almost take the whole thing out. And that's not safe. So therefore, that's why when you screw it to the right position, it ends up looking at the wall. And I went, So I ordered an elbow. It's coming on Tuesday. I ordered an elbow, which will now be like a little extension for that light, but I can then maneuver it any way I want to. So Simmy can go to bed looking at where I want him to look at, not where he ends up. Another problem solved one step at a time. It was quite the experiment, I don't mind telling you, and it was very frustrating to me, and it required a lot of problem solving. But can you understand that it was all done to use up my bandwidth in my head? All right, I did it all because I didn't want to be sitting and worrying myself sick all week about what might be wrong with me. Now, Jody, it's funny you should say that's really interesting to you. Can you see, I don't know if you've got a light outside your door, but Jody, I can talk to people through that. And I can take pictures. That's what I wondered. So I was thinking of you when I started talking about this, because if you are unable to get to the door, you can actually take the program and press a button, and you will be able to talk to whoever's outside the door and say, I can't get to the door. I'm unable to walk. Please leave the package, and you can tell them where to leave it, if you've got a safer place for them to leave a package. And that was another thing that I thought you might want to think about, Jody, is to maybe ask permission to have a locked box outside there, so that you can have a box that would take most of the sort of things you have delivered. The parcels are not normally that big, and have a code on it where you could literally say to them, the code to the box is 352 or whatever, and just let them put it in and relock it, so it's safe. Of course, they could take the box, but. So you understand this has been a week of experiment because why? You know me well. I get joy out of solving problems. I'm a problem solver. So I love nurturing plants. It gives me great joy. I've done lots of things this week. I not only have I checked a lot of boxes off my to-do list, horrendous as it is, but I also have had fun doing it. How many of you know it was fun solving the problem, how to get that rug out from under that heavy thing? I know that Dougie will come sometime in the next few weeks and visit me. It's definitely by the end of October. But, I didn't want to wait that long. I wanted to get it done. It needed. It had too many bits of popcorn. And by the way, it reminded me why I don't like carpets. Under where I sit, you'll be amazed how much dust and everything else was there in that particular place. Wasn't anywhere else, just where I sit. And it was just told me how much I had stomped stuff through that carpet. Quite scary. So this week will not be easy on many levels. I'm trying to work out. That funeral will start, I believe, 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, Jodi's time. Wherever you are, you probably know what time. If you're interested, you already know what time it's going to be because you will have looked it up. Now, my big decision is, do I want to stay up and watch it, or do I want to try and sleep? And I've decided I will probably try and get some sleep between about 9 and midnight or so, and then make sure I've got my alarm set to wake me up about 2:45. Why do I need an alarm at 2:45? Because I'm going to need a coffee. So, that's rather important to me. Now, the other thing I've been really careful about, I've only been taking my blood glucose testing once a week for the last little while. This week, I've been taking it more. I wanted to make sure I was not doing that. By the way, if anybody else is going to be watching it, Jodi's saying she will be. Maybe we'll just, if some of the viewers are going to do that, I think I might just do it via Facebook, see how many people are watching. Because I'm certain there'll be things we want to comment on and things that we want to feel and share. So I might do it on the Facebook page. We'll see how it does. If nobody's there, Jodi, you and I will do it the usual way. I'm hoping that you can see the lessons in here. I'm hoping you can see I'm not pretending to be pretty zen about everything. I hope you can feel that it's genuine. Of course, I have moments of terror. What if? I've got great examples of what if. I've got Jodi, who's been through this, not my particular possibility, but she's been through cancer and survived it. And, I've got people that have been bedridden and survived it. You know what I mean? That's like I got so many great people to help me. So I'm not particularly concerned. I know what I'm scared of. It's not death. Funnily enough, I don't have any fear of dying at all that I know of. I'll be sad. No, I won't. I won't be feeling anything. But, it's just like, but you understand. Yes, Jodi's saying, I'll be holding your hand. I know that, as I have yours, Jodi. Because one of the things I was talking to about my friend here in the community that has cancer, and she said to me, you are one of the few people I've met that when I told you I had cancer, you did not cry. You just went, really? How are you dealing with it? She said it was the most magical thing to hear. Not, I'm so, really? Yeah, no, just really. How are you dealing with that? She said you were genuinely interested in how I was coping with it. So you know what I went to go and do when I visited her today? I know she's going through this operation, and this operation is going to cut her same as mine. I've got a scar from here to down, right down here. I've got 17 stitches here. But they said to expect that they might also need to cut her this way as well, which means she's going to have no stomach muscles left when they finished. All right. When I say no stomach muscles, they will have, those muscles are going to be moved about and shoved around and all sorts of things. And I know from experience, when they went down my stomach, believe you me, I know how long it took for those muscles to work again. So what I did was I tried to remember, what did I do when I had that operation? And what I did was I took my horse's reins, as a dressage rider, and I took my horse's reins, the things that go from the bit here in the mouth all the way back to the rider, and you hold on to them like this. And so I took those reins and I put them on the two end legs of my bed, and then had the reins come up onto the bed, so that when I wanted to sit up, knowing I didn't have stomach muscles, I just had to lean down and get hold of the reins, and then I would pull myself up to a sitting position. So guess what I did? When I heard she was having that operation, I said, I think I might have a gift for you. And she said, what? And I said, I know what I did when I ended up with that many stitches down my stomach, and I think I might be able to help you. And I explained to her verbally what I did, and I said, would you be interested if I could make you something similar? And she said, yes. And I said, fine. Guess what? I already had the rope. I had, really strong sailing type quality rope. And then I made a thing for a hand to, so she could take a good grip on it. And I made that from the inside of this is a toilet roll, but, imagine a inside of a paper towel thing. And I cut it, and then I wrapped it all in that webbing that, Where did you go? There you are. The best bottle opener I ever found in my life. All right. So then what I did is I took the paper towel roll, and then I wrapped it in this stuff. So now she's got a really good hold on something, and the rope isn't going to cut her like this. And she said, how did you think of that? I said, I've done it. I know what you need. But I said, I'm bringing it to you now because I would recommend you start practicing how to do that. Imagine you don't have any stomach muscles, and see if you can get yourself up. The more you practice before the operation, the easier it's going to be after the operation. Now, she may or may not do it. Jody's saying, of course you had rope, Mrs. MacGyver. Well, she was very thankful. I will say that. And by the way, and I gave her the card, and that she really did think I'd done that all by hand. And I went, oh gosh, I wish I were that clever. But the really touching thing, because, life always gives you a little bit more than you expect. There was a woman there that has been walking that lady's dog for her. And I was listening to her, and she had her own issues in her life. And suddenly I just looked at her after, she got to a point where I could tell she trusted me. And then I said to her, I wonder if I could ask a favor of you. And she said, what's that? I said, I wonder if I could give you a hug. And without absolutely any hesitation, she said, yes, thank you. And I gave her a hug, and guess what? When I finished, she looked at me and said, you have no idea how much I needed that. I said, actually, I did. How did you know? I said, I could feel it. I could feel it. What I want you to do is I want you to watch the love this week. Not just the grieving or the emotional intelligence. I want you to watch the little things that show love this week. I believe we'll see a lot of them. A lot of them. By the way, I want to go back because the coronation will be coming up next and tell you that not only are you wearing 2 bags of sugar on your head, but you're holding that scepter and that orb as well. So if the crown starts to slip, you cannot. Think about that. They have to hold the scepter and the orb as they walk. So you understand why they have to keep perfectly still and straight. I couldn't do it. Could you? I want you to have a fun week learning if you choose to, or you can have a really sad, sorrowful week. That is your choice. I now know that from the very base of my heart. How much I struggle this week will be up to me. Why? Unlike Erin and Jody and so many of you, I am not in constant pain. I have twinges of pain, which is what made me go and have a mammogram. But right now, I don't. So I am so grateful. And I look at it and go, the good news is that I have the ability to see what I want to see. And Jody's saying, I'll keep my mind in my mind to watch for the love. Yes, I think you'll see a lot of it. And I just want to say as a parting shot, didn't Prince Harry just look the part in his military uniform? I want to say that for that split second, to me, it was like he has every right to be wearing that uniform, and he really wears it well. I think he is so handsome in that uniform. It's just like he's a good-looking guy to start with, but boy, in that uniform, he's really, I wanted to say drop down dead gorgeous, but that would not be appropriate. Jeannie's saying, I'm happy you're not in great pain. We pray for you nightly. Thank you so much for all of you who do. And Jody's saying, yes, Harry looked wonderful. I thought so. And they will need him, whether they like it or not. They can do without him, because we all can do without people. But given a choice, I think they could do with him rather than without him. I believe that he really, to the British people, is the epitome of what is modern. He breaks the rules. He does things his way. He's prepared to walk away from being a royal, all those sort of things, but he'll always be the prince. You see, you can't walk away from it. It's part of you. It's a bit like the things that happened in your life. You can ignore them, but they're still there. They're in here. The way he walked was still military, the way Prince Andrew walked, and he had every right to be there. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think it's time for us to look at reality. And if we can look reality square in the face, then our journey will be easier. It was one of the biggest conversations I've ever had with Jody, right? Which was, do you want to die? Because if so, I'll hold your hand. But if you want to live, I'll hold your hand as well for a lot longer. And I'm pleased to say 6 years later, she's still our admin and still doing everything she can to help me and now support me in my journey, whatever that may be. And it may not be a journey at all. We'll know. We might not know on Tuesday. What we'll know on Tuesday is more information about those 4 centimeters, probably, and what needs to happen next. And Jody said, and I'm still here bugging you. You see, that's my pleasure. That's part of my joy. And Jeannie, thank you for all your kindness and support. And I'm glad that you hope. What did you find of value? That's the question. Leave it in the comments below. Why was it worth the time to watch this? What did you learn? This is DearMamaSal saying, let's pray for everybody this week, the ones we know about and the ones we don't. Let us pray that the royals get the strength to go through that funeral tomorrow, and that they do continue to do so with grace. Yes, Jody's saying the lesson she needed from this broadcast today was watch for the love. It's out there all the time, Jody. Right? It is out there all the time. Unfortunately, we get more attracted to the negative stuff. We see that more than the love. And I want to say, didn't you feel the love when the Prince of Wales, Catherine, curtsy to the coffin. To me, that's like, yeah, I felt the love. I really felt it. And so you look at it and go, we will have great moments to watch for. And, we'll also see not everything will go perfectly right. Remember, if you can, King Charles and that stupid tray with the pins in it that was getting in his way. You see, there will be moments to laugh if you want to see them. And there will be moments to just go, wow, look at that. I beg you to learn lots of lessons this week, like any other week. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you, Jody, for being here, regardless of what's going on in your life. Let's look for the human in the humans being in mourning and saying goodbye to their mom. This is Dear Mama Sal saying love you dearly, everybody. We will see you maybe during the funeral, depending on how many people are watching it. And therefore, the rest of you, I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye for now.